So selection is deciding what I want to put in my photos. Right now I've selected these 3 homes on my street. So I've selected what I will take a photo of. Now I need to compose my photo. That means move my frame so that it looks the best. I'm gonna choose to lift my frame a little bit right here and take this photo right here because I think that's the most interesting. Now that we know what selection and composition are, let's talk about what makes great selection and composition. First, we'll talk about selection. What will you shoot your photos of? The first thing I'm always looking for is a good story. Something that makes you think, wow, I wonder what's happening in this photo. Both of these photos right here make me think, I wonder what's happening here. This is an interesting story. Same with these 3 photos that we looked at. Next thing I'm looking for is a really interesting background, if I can get one. I like the backgrounds on these photos. On these 2 photos, the background is just really interesting to look at. It's got a repeating pattern and texture. Another thing I'm looking for is an interesting model or subject, someone who tells a story, who I want to know more about. Both of these photos have really interesting subjects. Who are these people? Something else I'm looking for when I'm choosing what to shoot a photo of is shadows. I think shadows are really cool. We can see 2 really interesting shadows here. Both of these photos also have interesting shadows. Another thing I might be looking for is called contrast. Contrast means there's a lot of black and a lot of white, or a lot of bright parts and a lot of dark parts. Here are 2 more great examples of contrast. In this photo, we can see a lot of bright right here and a lot of dark right here, a lot of bright in the background and a lot of dark right here. Something else I might be looking for is color. Both of these photos have amazing color. Same thing with these 2 photos. Great color in these photos. Something else I might be looking for is called texture. I think of texture as just like something interesting to look at. A lot of times it has a repeating pattern. I like the texture of the water right here. I like the texture of the fence and the barbed wire right here. That's called texture. Here are 2 more examples of texture. The fence is repeating right here. It's like a pattern. The brick in the mirror and the brick behind her is repeating in this photo. Texture. Next, we want to think about what angles do we want to use. We learned the shot types already. Here's a low angle shot where the camera is below her. Here's a high angle shot where the camera is above this boy. Here is an extreme close-up where we have only part of this girl's face. And here we have both a long shot and an extreme long shot all in one photo. This is really interesting. In this photo, we have creativity. There are many, many, many ways to take photos. Be as creative as you can when you select what you will shoot and how you will shoot it. Here's 2 more amazingly creative photos. Next, we're going to talk about composition. Where will you put your model in the shot? In these 2 photos, we have amazing examples of something called rule of thirds. Rule of thirds basically means if you take the middle of the photo right here, you put the subject outside of the middle of the photo. So if the middle of the photo on this one is right here, we are putting our subject outside of the middle of the photo. Here's 2 more examples of rule of thirds. Here's the middle of the photo on this one. We can see that the subject is in the bottom on this one and the same thing on this one in the corner. Here's 2 more rule of thirds. You can see in this photo right here, the photographer chose to put the model off to the side. And on this one, the photographer chose to put the models at the bottom of the photo. It's called the rule of thirds, but should you use it every time? Maybe not. Here's two great photos where the subject is right in the middle of the photo. And here's two more. You could try to use a frame inside a frame. You can see in this photo that the girls are framed by the fence. In this photo, the boy is framed by the doorway. In this photo, the mirror is a frame. And in this photo, the subway elevator is a frame. Really, really cool. Really, really cool, guys. This one is also kind of a perspective shot. You remember these? All the lines pointing down to the subject. Now we're going to talk about two things that you should try not to do. This subject, on the left, we can see the whole body of the models. This is a great photo on the left. On the right, if this was the photo, that is called an amputation. Amputation means they cut off the legs. If you're going to show almost the whole body, especially if the subject is moving, show the whole body. Don't cut off the feet. Same thing on this one. The photo on the left is a great photo. We can see the subject's whole body, including the legs. Photo on the right, not a great photo. Almost a great photo, but we can see most of the body except we cut off the feet. Don't amputate. One more thing, guys, that you want to remember is that when you're taking a photo, try to put the sun or the light somewhere on the subject's face. Most of the time, you don't want your photos to be backlit because you can't see the features of your subject. I can't see any details here, and I would prefer to see the details. So try to put the light on the subject's face, not behind the subject's face. That's called being backlit. I got one more for you guys. It is to please hold your camera straight, not at a diagonal. You can see in these photos, the camera is being held at a diagonal. Diagonal means like this. Okay? Don't do that. This one, this too, diagonal. Please hold your camera straight. In this photo, instead, we are holding the camera straight.